hip hop artist from South Carolina. She's got a new album on the way called "Allow Me to Introduce Myself," and the first single is called "Spoil You" with Gwen Gray and T Nice joined with Jamiison. What's going on?
Hey, 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 hey.
How's it going?
Good, good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you so much for being on the show this evening. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So I first heard of you through some mutual friends. And I've heard your songs on the SoundCloud page, and you're pretty dope. You're pretty very talented.
Thank you.
You're very talented.
Thank you.
Shout out to Graham. Shout out to Travis. Shout out to the rest of G Music. Y'all got a movement out there in South Carolina, so y'all doing some big things out there. And you got this album
Thank
on the way. Allow me
Yeah,
to
I'm very
introduce
excited.
allow me to introduce myself. Let's talk about this album, like how you feel about it, and what made you name the album "Allow Me to Introduce Myself."
Well, I've only been rapping for almost 2 years now, and when I started out doing music to get my name out, I kind of started with features. I never really focused on actually doing my own music, so I'm kind of doing things a little bit backwards right now. So this is actually my first album. And I started originally writing because I wanted to start writing about my life. And so that's kind of where I was at with that this time around. I wanted to make this album more personal. So it was in a way of like allow me to introduce myself as a new artist, but also allow me to introduce myself as who I am as a person. So it has two different meanings to me, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Well, congratulations on it, and I'm definitely looking forward to hearing it and purchasing it as well. Do you
Thank
know,
you.
and do you have a day when it's going to be coming out?
I don't yet. I'm still in the process of writing it. I just wanted to announce it that I've got an album coming because once it's written, it's all going to be pretty much like a snowball set downhill from there. It'll all just kind of come into play and happen for me. I don't want to set a release date yet just because I'm still trying to work on the ins and outs of some of the verses and stuff like that. And on top of that, I've been having some personal things that I've had to take care of, so I had to take a little momentary break from music. Even though people didn't see me stop, I've had to take a little bit of a break from my album, so I'm back on it though, and it's pretty much written, but that's why there's not been a release date yet.
That's cool. That's definitely understandable for sure. Who do you consider your influences as an artist?
Um, I have a ton. I have a ton underground. I have a ton industry. I grew up on a lot of hip hop. The rap scene was much better then. So I mean, I had anywhere from P Daddy, Pac, Biggie, Mace. Uh, geez, there's a lot of people. Nas. Then I listened to a lot of Eminem when he became popular. I grew up on a lot, Fabulous, and so I mean I don't really have one as far as them go. The one that I actually appreciate and like I would have to say would be Eminem and Tupac. I enjoy people who are better at storytelling songs than they are just regular rap songs. So I would say probably about them two. I don't really have any female artists. So, but yeah, and then as far as like my singing style goes, I would probably say Alicia Keys and Keisha Cole. So, yeah.
Some Alicia and Keisha. Okay, okay, that's nice. Uh, I love Alicia. She's just on a she's on a category by herself as far as
Oh, I
success, and she makes it cool to play the piano. Like she makes it so beautiful, so etiquette-esque. As for Pac and
know.
I'm a fan of those two. I've always felt like Eminem's my favorite rapper of all time, just given how he
Okay.
he had to go through in a black dominant genre, and how he, when he was discovered by Dr. Dre, people laugh at Dr. Dre like, how you gonna let this white boy from Detroit, you know, how you gonna make him a superstar? And about 70 plus million records, controversial lyrics later, people consider him in this conversation with Pac and Big. And I got no issue with that because he definitely deserved those accolades, those strong accolades. And Eminem, I feel like he's a regular person, just like you and I. Like, he's not all about the money. He's not about fancy cars and reps and things like that. I mean, I see his music videos. He doesn't even wear all that. He be wearing a t-shirt, some jeans, and some Jordans. That's about it. Like, he's just a regular dude, and it's easy to relate to him and people like Pac
Right.
and others. Like,
Right.
it's easy to
Right.
feel what they coming from.
I feel you. Yeah,
Um,
he's definitely one of my favorites.
Man, and I love the 1990s. I mean, that was the decade for not just hip hop but music in general. With
Yeah, I feel you.
you
A
know,
lot of good music back then.
just I wish we can bring some of that element into 2000 in the 2000s. But you know, I've always talked to hip hop artists, and one thing I want to see more of hip hop these days is some substance. The storytelling, as you brought up. You as a music fan, what do you want to see more of in 2016 for at least from the hip hop side of things? What more delivery, more bars, more creativity, like more substance, um, other artists getting some chance of airplay. Like, what do you want to see more of from hip hop in 2016?
More females, more appreciation that it's not about, oh, she's good for a girl. It's she's good. You know what I'm saying? I think we're on the rise right now of female hip hop, and it would be nice to see other than Nikki because I don't really feel like Iggy's doing much, but it'd be nice to see somebody but Nikki, kind of killing the scene, and I think I would love to see that more females in the game versus just Nikki.
I definitely feel you on that one. I mean, people may not like Nicki, but I'm guilty. I'll say it. I like some of her music. I don't like everything, and that's the beauty of being a fan.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to like everything they do. So I like
Right.
some of Nicki, and then you got Iggy being pulverizing as she is. And one thing am looking forward to is Missy Elliott's comeback. When I seen that video, I was like, wow, like that's vintage Missy right there. So, but I definitely want to see some females get some shine other than Nicki. Like, I mean, it can't be that one-sided as it is. Just
Right.
and I mean, but I do listen to other females. I listen to you, obviously. I listen to Nitty Scott, MC. I'm a fan of her. I listen to
Okay.
some other artists of Angel Hayes. I listen to her a little bit. I listen
Okay.
to. I think that's all I know at the top of my head. So, but I agree with you. Female hip hop artists. Let's let them get their shine. It's not about the dudes. So, um,
Right.
I definitely feel you on that one. Um, if you can have a dream collaboration, Jameson, it could be any artist, dead or alive. Who would you want to be in this dream collaboration, to be included?
I don't know. I always say Sadie is a shady lady. I'd have to say Eminem. I, he's probably one of my favorite, and I feel like he's earned the respect. And as a lyricist, I feel like other than a few artists, he's kind of untouchable. And personally, I just would say it'd be an honor just to meet him, much less actually collaborate with him. So I'd have to say probably Eminem.
I guess he's Slim Shady and Sexy Sadie. Shady and Shady. You know that
right?
it's got a, I think
Right.
that's got a nice wing to it. You know, repping the Detroit into the South Carolina. I know you're originally from Maryland, you know, but you repping South Carolina right now.
Right.
Um, so let's talk about this label, this group that you're part of, G Music. Talk about the label, and who's included in G Music, and what do they have coming up?
Okay, so actually, it's a funny story behind G Music. G Music started when I actually made my profile. I made a music profile because I didn't want to add random people to my personal one because I have kids. And so I actually put it as Jamison, and I wanted to do Jamison G, but they wouldn't let me do Jamison G. So because it had to be longer than just the letters, so I ended up doing Jamison G and then put music on it and made it one word. Well, so fast forward to me actually meeting Grim, who is now part of the team as well. His name is Grim Gray, and so we kind of just thought it'd be cool because his initials would be with a G, that we ended up naming his productions and what he does musically as G Music Production. Right now, we currently are just me and him. We have done a lot of features outside with people and collaborated with them where Chris has put his name, G Music Production, on it. But as far as the team goes and that side of things, it's just me and Grim Gray.
That's awesome. You know, shout out to Graham. I'm definitely a fan of his as well. I know he's doing big things. So I'm looking forward to hearing more from Graham in the future for sure. And I'm sure he's going to hear this at some point once I post it and send you the link and everything. Graham, if you're interested in doing a call-in interview, man, I'm all up for it, man. So just reach out to a brother and we can make that happen for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm sure he's definitely willing to do it.
that's awesome. Um, so as far as there's been a lot of talk about, you know, ghostwriting, you know, people writing for other artists, and I guess as a fan, I don't really don't think too much about it. I guess at the end of the day, it's a matter how you sound and how you go with the beat. Or, um, do you think there's too much of a deal whether artists write their music a lot? Do you think that's considered a big deal?
Um, it depends. I'll say this, there's a difference between underground and industry. When you're underground, it does say a lot, whether it's male rappers, female rappers, or whatever type of underground you're doing, but especially in the rap world, it's important to want to write your own lyrics. It's a comment, I knew this was probably coming up, and with being said, ghostwriting for as far as industry goes, I don't see how that would be a problem. I know a lot of people say that's fake, but when it comes down to it, you got to figure they're doing shows, they're doing tours, uh, press conferences, whatever else a famous person does, you name it, whatever. They're so busy that how in the world do you think that they have the time and energy that we put in for writing? You see what I'm saying? So when
Hmm.
it comes to the industry, I already know, like, a lot of them probably don't write their lyrics, and they're just the face of the lyrics of the person. I know for a fact that there's a lot of money in ghostwriting, so obviously it's that reason for a reason. But when it comes to underground, I have to say I'm not really for it. I'm still learning. I'm a new writer still myself, so it took me a while. If you listen to some of my older stuff versus my newer stuff, like you can tell the difference in how I've even grown with writing. So I mean, yeah, it's definitely frowned upon in a underground world, especially if you know you're having somebody write your lyrics for you and you say you're a rapper or whatever. It's kind of hard then to get on and a song and talk crap to them when they're not even writing it, if that makes sense, you know. So I would say, yeah, it's definitely frowned upon. But as far as industry goes, I mean, everybody wants to believe that they're writing their own lyrics, but you know, there's people who make money in the ghostwriting for a reason. And, I've even had this argument before with Grim Gray talking about how Lil Wayne and Eminem probably don't even write theirs. So me personally, I don't see why it would be such a horrible thing as far as an artist goes in that high of a level. They've already made it. They earn their spot. So I don't know. That's just my opinion on it, though.
I definitely can see that for sure. And artists maybe as far as the quote unquote ghostwriting, they ain't got time to write every single song that they put out. So I guess they relied on the ghostwriter, and maybe sometimes you gotta tweak some lyrics or whatever in the chorus. So I guess that's something to be added to, or whatever the case may be. Um, here's something else I want to ask you. Being in the underground, um, it gives you more freedom to put out the music the way you want to do it, instead of some middleman, instead of AR, any industry representation, things like that. I mean, that's got to be a good feeling. Like, you get to put out the music the way you want to. And I feel like nowadays there's a lot more successful artists on the indies, on the underground, in the quote unquote industry. That has to be encouraging, given that you have control of how you want to put out your music. I think that's should be the number one trait for any artist, is you want to put out the music the way you want to put out. At least that's how I feel about it.
Right. Well, I agree. I enjoy it. I can't speak for every artist, but for myself, I ran into having a manager that, always wanted to try to tell me things to write, and it's like anybody who knows me knows I'm really outgoing, boisterous, loud, speak my mind type of girl. And the manager I had was trying to pretty much tell me what to write, and none of it was what I wanted to write. It was about like dream chasing and money and flashy things and just bars, bars, bars. And as I told you, my influence was more, Eminem style and talking from, the heart and pain and emotion. And so when I had him trying to tell me that, you can do that once you've made it, I was like, well, how do you change yourself as an artist once you've made it? That doesn't make sense. They fall in love with the person you were. And so, it hindered me that he kept trying to tell me, how I should write my music, to the point where me and Grim Gray actually separated him, and we were starting to do our own music again. And it was like I had a writer's block the entire time that I was working with him. And as soon as like we got rid of him, it's like my writer's block completely went away. Completely went away. And so now I completely agree. We do have a little bit more leadway because we get to do whatever we want and say what we want to say. And so that's why people are now going to more industry, because like you said earlier, like late 90s, early 2000s, that's when all the was good, because people were talking real and it wasn't all about money, cars, and clothes and stuff like that. Now it's now like it is now. So, yeah, I think that's why, we're having such good luck right now in the underground world versus the industry, and that's why they're not really making that good of music, because, they're being hindered.
Pretty much. I think that manager must be listening to Young Thug or something. I don't know. Maybe that he's like, oh, this will be a good idea. You're like, hell nah. So, uh, speaking of which, I'm all for feel good music, having a good time, things like that. As long as it's something that you actually been through and things like that. Then you got an artist named Slim Jesus. He's been on the news for the wrong reasons. It's bad enough that you talk about guns and stuff like that. It's even worse when you acknowledge that you don't live that life, and that's not a good look. I think that gives artists like you a bad rap, because you do talk about stuff that you've been through and how much you have to overcome, and And then you got this guy getting famous for something that he's not really about a certain lifestyle. Um, that has to be frustrating, don't you think?
You know, with him, being a one-hit wonder and coming up overnight, I can honestly say, yeah, it's cool that everybody knows his name, but why did think about that? Think about it like this: why does everybody know his name? And it's not because he's a dope artist like Pac or Biggie or M or something like that. It's because he was stupid. And so, it doesn't really make me angry when I look at it that way, because when you think about it, that's going to be the only song he has that pops. You know what I mean? When you shoot up to that level so quickly like that, you usually come down just as quick as you shot up that far. And so I've always said to myself, I don't want to put out a song or something like that hits charts like immediately and goes off the chain, because usually those artists die off just as quick as they came in. I mean, look at again, I'm willing to bet the dude that does the Nene song will come in just as quick as he came in, he'll be out. So, as far as getting mad at people like Slim Jesus for like coming up over being stupid and not talking about lives that they don't live, I mean, that's his deathbed, because there are people out there that do live that life and do take rap seriously at the same time. And so, I'll pray for him when he, shows up to a show and he's not about a life he talks about. You know what I mean? I'm being from Baltimore and stuff like that. You kind of know how cities work a little bit more. And I'm going to say, thinking about all that just helps me to realize there's nothing to be mad about. It's just he took a cop-out route to get noticed. And now that he's noticed, it's like, okay, what do we do from here? And, it's funny, I've actually been on some of the stuff like of his, and you see all these girls and dudes like, you rock, bro, and all that, and he's garbage. But you see all these people rocking with him because they want to follow a trend. And I just laugh at it because, you see people like that, but, what are you going to do? You can stay mad about it or keep working.
Pretty much. I like the Nene song, but I agree. He's gonna be one. I'm,
My daughter loves it.
I dance to that song at work. I do that dance, and yeah, even I know. At least he's just dance. He's just doing. He's just dancing, just having a good time, But he's gonna be
Right.
one and done too. So, uh, but yeah, that's that's music for you sometimes. That's music for you. So, Jameson, why don't you go ahead, promote your links, and where can hear your music? Go ahead and promote your links.
Okay, you can find pretty much anything you want to know about me on my Facebook page, and you can find me, that page is just Jamiison. You can also follow me on Instagram at JAMIISON_G. I'm also on Twitter at JAMIISONG. And then you can find me on SoundCloud under those names. But either way, you'll find my links on all those. And then, yeah, that's it.
Go check this lady out, Jamiison G. Shout out to Jameson. Shout out to Grim Gray. Shout out to G Music. And be on the lookout for that debut album, Allow Me to Introduce Myself, coming soon. That album almost makes me want to use a Jay-Z line. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Hope. I just had to do it. I just had to.
I heard that. Somebody actually told me that. I think it was Grim that told me, you use that title, people going to think of Jay-Z.
Well, I guess that makes me the first. But I know you're not Hove. You're Jameson. You're doing you. And you letting people know who you are, from B-More to South Carolina. And you make a name for yourself. So I give mad kudos to you. And
Thank you.
let's talk about this song, Spoil Ya. Talk about writing this song. What's it all about? What was it like recording this record?
Oh, man. This song, it had quite a few people I asked to be on it. And to be honest, I just wanted something kind of lighthearted and fun for the summer. It never got put out in the summer, but I just kind of wanted something real lighthearted and something chill. You know, we always talk about breakups and how men suck and how women suck and blah blah blah, and it's just like I wanted to do something fun. At the time that I wrote it, I was in a good place. I was really happy and all that. So that's what it was. And then I ended up coming up with a bunch of artists who just were not meeting the quality of the song or anything like that. That's when I remember my homeboy T Nice actually recorded at the same studio that I did, and I know that he's pretty dope, which you guys should check him out. He's T Nice on SoundCloud, and I think it's Thomas T Nice Sullivan or something like that on his Facebook. But yeah, you can. The song was definitely fun. We did the hook, and Grim has a kind of fun sounding singing voice, so we decided to put him on it. So I went into the studio with Grim, and we recorded it. And then a few days later, T Nice went in when he had the time. He just started a new little family with him and his fiance or wife. But so yeah, we ended up putting this song together, and I held on to it for a minute because I wasn't sure if I wanted to put it on my album, if I wanted it to just be a single release or whatever. But it ended up turning out to be really fun, and I was actually surprised at the response that it's gotten so far. So, but it's been a fun song. So that's pretty much it.
Well, Jameson, it was great chatting with you. Thank you so much for your time. I love the record
Thanks.
Spoiler, and you know what? I know you wanted to put it out in the summer, but the holidays, good timing to put up that song out. People gonna get spoiled for the
Right.
holidays. You know, I want this for Christmas. So it's just
Right.
so it's it's a blessing in disguise. Let's put it that way. Let's put it that way.
Exactly.
Um, so Jameson, great chatting with you. Thank you for your time. Happy
Thank.
holidays to you. Happy Thanksgiving. Again,
I hope you do.
and thank you. Allow me to introduce myself. Coming soon from Jamiison G. Be on the lookout for it. Go like her on Facebook. Go listen to her music on SoundCloud. And definitely put that spoiler on repeat. Put it on repeat. Play it. Tell your friends. Tell your neighbors. Tell your co-workers. Tell your mom, your dad, your grandma, your grandpa. Tell everybody. Get spoiled. Damn it. Uh,
Right.
you have a good night. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was Jamiison G joining me here on Chilling with Jack Hennessy. And